Welcome back to Cafe Racer Garage. I am Dan, and today I want to show you how I made a set of 40-year-old motorcycle carburetors go from this to this. Coming up. So what I'm about to do now is remove this entire front end for two reasons. The first one is the actual forks are leaking. This guy here, you can probably see it's really damp all the way through here, and it's been dripping for some time. So yeah, that needs to be completely rebuilt. I was going to do it myself, but there is a special tool that you need to have or make. And for the sake of time, I think I'll just get someone else to do it because it's not that expensive. And I do have the seals for it. They're actually down there. While I have this front end off, I'm going to take the advantage in actually tidying this whole thing up, this bottom triple clamp. Get rid of these guys that are unneeded, and also get rid of that seam line, and maybe even change or tidy up these actual stops, steering stops. So that's something that I've got to do, but I've got a bit of a surprise on how I'm actually going to clean up this whole bottom triple clamp. So stay tuned for that. So that always scares the bejeebers out of me every single time I break a belt on this belt grinder. It happens so fast. So this is a fairly new belt and I just destroyed it purely because it's not really designed for aluminium, and I was pushing pretty hard. So what I'm going to do, as you can see over there, I've got the the vise set up. So what I'll do is I'll just take down the bulk of it with a flapper disc on the grinder. So I want to introduce you to one of the stars of the show in this video, which is this guy here. This is the Vapour Honing Technologies Vapour Blaster. This thing is incredible. As you know, I've been working on this little guy here, and all I've done is taken down that seam with the belt grinder. Couldn't quite get all in here with the belt grinder. I've tried with other little like sanding tools and files and whatnot, but I couldn't quite get a good job of it. So I threw it in this cabinet, cleaned it right up, and as you can see, the finish just speaks for itself. It is incredible. You could just leave it like that and put it back on the bike. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to probably paint it black to match the top one, even anodize it, and yeah, pretty much go from there. These are the stops that I've welded on and just tidy them up to make them look a little bit more presentable, and rounded them off so that they look nice and look like they were part of the bike originally. But yeah, this thing here is just insane. If you haven't heard of a Vapour Blaster before, I'll give you a quick little rundown on how they work. They're very similar to a sandblasting cabinet, apart from the fact that obviously you're using water as well as abrasive that you would use normally with a sandblasting cabinet. This guy here is made by Vapour Honing Technologies. They've put a lot of R&D into their machines over a long period of time. They know exactly what they're doing, and the proof is in the pudding, and just shows you on the parts that you pull out of this machine. I'm blown away by what it can do. This is the VH800P. They have a whole bunch of different models, from ones that sit on your bench to ones that you just throw something in, tie it down, and then it's automatic and you pull it out and it's done. So yeah, they're pretty much, all you got to do to use these machines is obviously open the door, throw your part in there that you're going to use, put your hands in the gloves just like you normally would, and start blasting. In the bottom of here, there is actually water and your abrasive, and it makes a slurry. Obviously the pump is in the bottom and it mixes it up and pretty much pushes it outside this nozzle at whatever rate of PSI that you have set. I think mine's set at about 90 PSI. Now this is the abrasive that I'm actually using. It's like bicarb soda. That's what it feels like in my fingers. That's how fine it is. It's actually glass bead. Really fine glass bead. Once you've pretty much got everything in place, as in your parts in the machine, you've got your water in there connected, and you've got your abrasive, now you just talking about your abrasive just quickly, depending on the type of abrasive you use with these things is depending on the finish you're going to end up with. And if you want a really, really aggressive abrasive, you can do that. You're just not going to end up with a perfect finish, like a real smooth, nice finish like that part that I just showed you. Now, all you got to pretty much do from that point is just turn it on, plug your air in, and you've got a foot pedal. You can either sit down or stand up, and away you go. I've lifted this thing up ever so slightly off the ground because I'm quite tall, so I wanted to get it at a really, really high position for me because I wasn't going to sit down to start with. I may get a stool, but at this stage I'm just pretty much standing and using it. But so, this machine didn't come without challenges, and let me explain. So my issues with this machine wasn't actually the machine itself, was feeding the machine. Now it needs three things to run this machine. It needs electricity, water, and air. Now the first thing, electricity, easy enough, plugs into normal power, that's fine. Water, I actually installed a tap right behind it, so that was fairly easy. The air, that's where I had some problems. I ran into a bit of issues. I have 3 air compressors at the moment, 2 of which, one was about, I think, maybe 8 CFM, and the other one is, I think, maybe 10 at the max. And neither of those 2 were big enough. This thing needs, I think, 15 to 20 CFM to run it, and that's where I was running into problems. So this is the issue. Here in Australia, we pretty much have a limited amount of options for something around 15 to 20 CFM. And if you want to get 3-phase installed in your house, which is quite a bit of an expense, that's probably the only real option to really get something big enough. But then I've found something else, which I'll show you now. So let me introduce to you the solution. This guy here is a Pilot Air brand. If you're in Australia, no doubt you would have heard about this because they've been around for like 40 years. I think they're on their 3rd generation, so fully family owned, which is really cool. I love that. And this thing's called a duplex. So how is it possible that I don't need 3-phase? Well, it's got 2 pumps. So they're 2 15 amps, and you just plug them into the power, 2 power points, and that's it. You're pretty much good to go. This is a K series, K17, so 17 CFM. It runs perfectly. Runs this machine over here like a dream. I don't have to worry about it. It just gives it a ton of air all the time. Pumps on this machine are actually Italian, and obviously, you know, being Italian, they generally know what they're doing. And for a company that's been around 40 years using an Italian pump, I'd say that they haven't had many problems with them. And, you know, the machine itself is just actually quite quiet considering it's so big. It actually doesn't really put out that much noise. It's not obviously going to live here. I'm going to be making a little home for it somewhere else, but I've got wheels on it just like everything else that I do. If you know me, if you've seen me in my videos, I pretty much put wheels on everything, just because then you have options to where you can put things. So this is the solution, and a few of the other companies that I did contact about compressors were not very helpful. In fact, they pretty much said to me I need 3-phase, it's the only way to do it. Whereas as soon as I called Pilot Air, I said, yeah, no worries, mate. We got one called the duplex, and this is it. This is the machine. So if you are in a workshop or a garage and you are in Australia and you're looking for an air compressor that's big enough and you don't have 3-phase, then definitely give these guys a look. And let me know if you are Aussie. Leave me an emoji of the Aussie flag, all right, oi, 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 whatever you want. Just to let me know how many of you actually are watching this video are actually Aussie. I'd be interested to know. So just to give you a quick little demonstration as to what all the bits and pieces are on this machine, this is obviously the air in with their little regulator here, and they pretty much set it from factory, so I didn't even need to touch that. And the 3 outlets are, this one here is for obviously your abrasive because it's the bottom. All the abrasive is always going to pretty much sit on the bottom, and your water, to get rid of your water, to get rid of your abrasive. And this one here is just when you're using fresh water. So if you're using the little yellow handled sprayer inside the machine and you want to rinse down the machine, or if your windscreen sprayer is working, this here pretty much just takes the water off the top. So the water level always sits about there, and if it goes a little bit above it, This thing here will just pretty much get rid of it. I've just got a bucket at the moment. I will actually plumb it so that it's going to go out somewhere. What I mean by sprayer on the window is whenever you actually activate this machine, you have full control of it. There's a little sprayer that sits here that sprays the windscreen. I'll do it now just to show you. Put my foot on the foot pedal. So that's pretty much what it does. And every single time it does that, you can adjust it to how long it sprays for or how often it's going to spray and that sort of thing. It's all controllable inside this little box here they got on the side. So the other thing about this machine is that you can use it with rubber. If you have like a carburetor with little rubber bits in it or an engine with rubber pieces on the side, you don't have to worry about it destroying them like it would with a dry blast cabinet. Purely because of the water, it just flows over it. With the glass bead that you use, yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt rubbers, which is really good to know. Here I've got a set of carbs. These are another set of CX500 Honda carbs. I've had these for a little while sitting here. I haven't done anything with them, so I thought I'll just throw them in the cabinet and see what it does. And as you can see, that side hasn't been touched, whereas that side is amazing. So 40-year-old carburetors have just look like they've just come straight from the factory, or even better than that. And you can see parts of it where I've hit, you know, obviously in here. Other parts like metal, how it's just tidied this up and made it look like it's just amazing. So a couple more items that I'm going to try in the Vapour Blaster is this badge here, straight off the CX500. Let's see how it cleans up. I think that'll come up nice. This will probably come up really nice. It's obviously a bottle opener from Copenhagen when I was traveling, and it's made of brass, so I think this will look really good. And I think it's cast brass, so say that really fast. And this is obviously steel, been sitting in the weather for a good part of 3 years. And I don't know if this is going to come up nice because it's obviously, you know, a lot of rust and it's got a coating on it as well. So let's see what we can do with it. I think it might come up okay. If anything, it might stop it from obviously being seized because at the moment they don't even hardly move. So let's give it a go, see what happens. So I've taken these out of the Vapour Blaster and dried them off a little bit, and as you can see, the coating on this one here is the original, and it's taken that off completely. Like a beautiful finish, and you can see the difference there. It's just giving you a clean canvas to now decide whether you want to Cerakote it, powder coat it, paint it, clear coat it, whatever you want to do, or even hand paint it, I guess. You've just got bare, perfect finish, which is amazing. So that's that. The other thing was the vice grips, which I've pulled out, and unfortunately that's as good as I could get them. They just wouldn't. I'm just joking. That is incredible. That's what happened. And this is with glass bead. Like, I'm just using ordinary glass bead. There's no real hard abrasiveness in that. And the last thing that I tested was that bottle opener, if you remember what it looked like. Pretty old and dirty, and just, you know, needed some TLC, and that's what came out of it. It is incredible. Just like a brand new piece. I don't even think when I purchased it, it looked that good, to be honest with you. So amazing. I did a post on my Patreon page recently just for them to say, hey, I'm about to do some Vapour Blasting and randomly select 2 of you guys to do the blasting for. If you have something you want done, let me know. And 2 guys I've selected randomly. This one is Yale Dion CB650 carburetors, and that's what's pretty much put in all these little bags. And the other one is still coming from Canada, so it hasn't arrived yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this in the cabinet piece by piece and just blast it up and see what it looks like. So just one of the perks of being a patron of mine, I'm going to randomly select guys that have been supporting me for a little bit of time and do something nice like this for them every now and again, just to say thank you. And the thing with this Vapour Blaster though is the things that you don't notice, like this little bit of brass that's inside there behind the spring. I didn't even know that was there. It must have been covered in grime and dirt, and just the things that you don't even see that this machine can get to, that you can't even, I mean, you'd spend like so long trying to scrub that up and you still probably wouldn't get it as good as that. All the brass pieces that you can see have just come up like magic, like they're brand new. And if this was my carburetor, what I would do is probably replate anything that's steel. Either get it Cerakoted or probably maybe zinc plated or something, but just to make sure that it lasts as long as it can. I totally understand that a machine of this size may not be in everybody's space and budget requirements. However, these are the machines that I have, and if you are looking for them, I'll leave links to both of these companies in the description below. They do offer a whole bunch of different models for different requirements depending on what you need. And if you're not looking for a machine at all, but you do want to get some parts done, I may be offering this as a service if I get a bit of interest from it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my email in the description below, and if you are interested in getting some parts done, leave me an email, let's start a conversation, throw me a photo of what you want done, and let's go from there. Oh yeah, and before I go, happy Halloween everybody, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click here to another one that I think you'll really like, and I'll chat with you in the next video.